Hey guys, it's Andy, and as most of you know, I consider myself to be a writer. And in fact, my most popular video on this channel is the one that I posted called Things Writers Do. So I thought I would once again reach out to the writers out there and offer some tips for young writers. I said the word writers a lot then, and it's starting to not sound like a word. Oh boy, this is gonna be fun. Now I know what you're thinking. Andy, you've never managed to publish a book or anything. Why are you qualified to give advice on this? Well, you know what? I have a degree in this, so I feel pretty dang qualified. That's right, everyone. I'm educated. Look at that. So yes, while I have never managed to publish a full-blown novel, which is one of my dreams for my lifetime, to publish multiple novels, I have in fact been published twice in young authors' anthologies, so I feel that I do have a bit of experience in managing to write things. One of my first pieces of advice is to get yourself a good notebook and do a lot of your pre-writing by hand. Now I know what you're saying, Andy, why would we write things by hand whenever we just gonna write it on the word processor anyway in order for it to actually do anything, and it's a lot easier to type things. Why would we waste time getting carpal tunnel syndrome by writing by hand all the time? Well, you're not gonna write your whole novel by hand, I can promise you that. But what'll help you a lot is if you do some of your experimenting in a notebook. I can't exactly explain why, but for some reason writing actually on physical paper with a pen actually helps me feel like I'm being more creative. I think it has something to do with just the setting of it. Not to mention the sound of pen on paper. Oh my god, it's great. Another thing that I can say is once you start writing, don't stop. You don't want to keep going back and doubting every sentence that you wrote whenever you're writing because you will never get past the first sentence that way. I had it described to me like this once. If you're putting together a table, you've put together the legs on one end, and now you're polishing it, you're putting a tablecloth on it, and you're doing all that, but the other half of the table is still sitting on the ground. You can't edit and make things pretty until you've finished everything. Because if you do that, you're going to end up with a really great first chapter and then nothing to follow it. You'll be out of steam before you even really begin. I know a lot of people aren't going to like to hear this, but outlines are your friend. Outlines are crucial to not forgetting that idea that you had for later in the book while you're still on the first page. While you don't have to write your book in chronological order, technically you can't just have a great beginning scene and then jump right to the climax. You're gonna have to come up with everything in between eventually, and an outline really can help you with that. Music can be a great assistant to the creative process, but when you are actually writing the story and not just creating characters or settings or coming up with ideas, you really need music that doesn't have any lyrics in it. When you listen to music with lyrics, it distracts you. It just automatically does. That's similar to why you don't need to be watching TV or a movie while you're writing. It's not going to help. It'll create writer's block because you'll be listening to these other words that are happening, and it'll make you not be able to form your own. One of the things that I really like to write to is actually rain sound effects. I find that it really provides a certain mood for writing. However, when you're creating your characters and doing stuff like that, coming up with songs that really personify them, that is very helpful to helping you create them. I always describe it as if I was making this into a movie, this would be on the soundtrack. When you're making characters, try your hardest to make them three-dimensional and not just stereotypes of the sort of character that they're supposed to be. Everyone needs some motivation, so you can't just have them doing what they're doing for the sake of doing it. They need a reason. Honestly, that's one of the most difficult things for me because I'm like, why is this person doing this thing? I have no idea. I need to figure that out before I can actually put this into the story. You have to know everything about your characters, about your world. If someone asks you about it, you have to be able to answer it in a flash because you are that world's creator, you are that person's creator. You know everything about them. Hey, Jasmine. Sometimes cats are a great addition to the writing process because they're just snuggly and warm and they provide so much encouragement, like walking on your keyboard and providing you new material. If you want writing to be your job, you need to write as though it is your job. And that is something that applies to pretty much anything that you want to do in life. If you want it to be what you do, you have to do it like it's your job. One of the most important things about writing is to make sure that you write every single day. That seems daunting when you first think about it, but honestly, why are you writing? Do you like to write? Do you have something to say? Then write about it every single day. And if you want to write like a 90,000 page novel and you write every day for a year, you're not going to have to write that much every day. You need to have a writing schedule, and I know that makes it sound lame. You should write when the creative inspiration hits you, but that's not going to happen because if you wait for that to happen, it will never happen. If you plan to write for 2 hours every day, you need to commit yourself. You need to have that time set aside. Okay, this is the time when I write, and don't stop. Even if you feel like you have writer's block, do not stop for that entire 2 hours. Just sit there, and even if you can't come up with anything to write, just write anything. Chances are eventually something reasonable will come out. And that comes back to not second-guessing what you wrote before. If you write something, leave it in. Editing comes later. Unless you're attempting to drastically change the format or the actual plot of the story, there is no need to go back and change things until later. Honestly, that's only a portion of the advice I've ever been given in my life, and I hope that some of you will take some of it and actually apply it and just start achieving your dreams and writing and creating great things. Seeing people create things like out of their own minds that just appear in their heads and then they make them appear on paper or on screen or on a video, that is one of the most impressive things that I think I can ever see. So please just go out there and do it. Do your writing, create your stories, and make those worlds come to life. If you guys have any more writing tips or you have any thoughts on the writing tips that I gave in this video, then leave a comment about that down below. Thank you guys so much for joining me on this trip into Andeeland. If you'd like, you can click here to be sent to my last video, or you can click right down here to subscribe to my channel to see new videos every Monday and Friday. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and share it with your friends if you think they'd like it too, and I will see you next time. Bye guys!